Hi, everyone. Welcome to a recovery ride. This ride will be perfect for anyone who's been working out really hard. If you've just done a lot of training, maybe a long ride out on the road, and your legs just need to move, but you really just need to kind of dial it back and recover, I got you. So I'm going to invite you to create your own playlist for this ride because it won't be driven by any particular cadence. I'll keep you in ranges. So find your favorite music, pop it on in the background, and we'll just do some recovery here together. If you're a rhythm rider, you might just choose to ride right along with the beat of the music you have playing. Otherwise, let the music be background. So right now, I'm turning the pedals at about 75 RPMs. I have easy resistance on the wheel. So the name of the game right here is just the flush. Just flushing it out, getting a little bit of heart rate going. Nothing crazy. I will connect my watch and we'll just keep an eye, but no big goals. That's not true. The big goal, this is important. In fact, recovery is more important than training. You can't train without recovery. Recovery rides give us an opportunity to perfect the details of our riding. When we're not trying to accomplish distance or speed or power, we can dial in on the details of our technique, our posture, our alignment. So just take a moment before we get into all of that. Maybe close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. And just check in. How's your body feeling? Where are you sore? Where are you tired? Which muscles need attention? And besides this ride, do you need some stretching, a nap, a massage, an ice bath? What do you need? Let's focus on self-care. Breathe in through your nose as much as possible. Let's treat this like yoga here at the beginning, just using the nose for breath. As soon as we start to use the mouth for breath, we've crossed over that line into work, right? Into exercise. So down here in easy and moderate, you should be able to use your nose for breath. All right, so let's start to look at some of those little alignment details. For starters, come on up, upright in the saddle. Keep your pedals turning, 75-ish. And bring your hands to your hip bones, right here, your pelvis. And I want you to just kind of feel the front of your hips, those bony points in the front. We call that ASIS. Anterior, which means front, superior, top, iliac spine, so the ilium. So you're feeling these bones of the pelvis are like rabbit ears, not rabbit, elephant ears, right? That just come around. So they're great big round bones. All right, so those form the top of your pelvis. And underneath, you're sitting on your sitting bones. So you know what I'm gonna do? You keep going, I'm gonna show you a pelvis, my favorite thing. Well, I don't mean that pelvis is my favorite thing, but anatomy. So here's your pelvis, and this is what's sitting on the saddle, this round bottom of the pelvis. You want that to be right on that saddle, just like that, right on the back of the saddle. So we're feeling these bones that come around here in your body. So there's your little anatomy lesson for the day. So as we're sitting straight up and down, we can really feel those two anchor points on the back of the saddle. Now bring your hands to the crease of your hips, lift your chest and hinge forward so your back is straight. Hands light on the handlebars. Keep going. I'm going to show you that sideways. So here we go. We've anchored those little loops, those sitting bones right, straight down on the saddle. We're upright, we're not tucked. And then my hands are at the crease of my hips. I'm lifting my chest and I'm going to hinge forward and lightly set my hands. So now it should feel like you're on the front of those sitting bones. And those elephant ears are like a bowl spilling water out the front. So notice how that is different than this if I were to tuck my tailbone under and round myself toward the handlebars, which we see all the time, okay? So straight on top, hinge, light hands. Speed your legs up a little bit now. Let's go to about 80 RPMs. Tall spine. So you keep going, and I'm just going to show you that again. And I know that I'm belaboring the point, but I think this is the main thing I see people do that can really be hard for your back. So here's my saddle. I want to hinge forward with my whole pelvis, not just round my back forward. So it's going to look like this. Here are my sitting bones. And then as I hinge forward, I'm on the front of those sitting bones. I'm going to stay at this angle for a couple more minutes and just show you a couple more things. So the problem with that for people is that now your weight is on the tender parts. So that requires a little bit more resistance on the wheel, a little bit more pressure into the pedals so you can sit taller. With light resistance, pick up your pace. Go to about 85 RPMs. And just really aware of the pelvis anterior tilt, the forward tilt of the pelvis, not the rounding of the spine. So if you can see from the side, I still have a little inward curve in my back, which I have when I'm sitting upright. I just took that with me. All right, so watch the tendency to round. There's no headwind when you're cycling indoors, so you can be more upright. It's going to save your back a lot of trouble. All right, let's slow it down a little bit and add just moderate resistance. Come down to about 60 RPMs. Not hard, moderate. So it's going to feel like a little bit of a slow hill with light resistance. And with that resistance coming on now, you're going to start to feel the muscles of your legs, but you don't want to feel them working hard. You might even take one hand, give yourself a little massage. Let your muscles know, you can trust me, I'm not going to work you hard today. We're just moving things around. And just here, you might feel your tender parts underneath you. So lift those muscles, engage them. The perineum, the pelvic floor muscles, lift those in and up. Notice that might tempt you to pull your shoulders up by your ears. So don't do that. Just lift up from below and engage your abs. Nice and slow, medium resistance. Okay, let's find another bony landmark. So go ahead and keep pedaling nice and slow. Go back to the pelvis. Tailbone, right? There's your tailbone, your coccyx. And notice that it's not entirely attached. So it's pretty fragile. You probably met some people that have broken their tailbone. So when we hinge forward in the saddle, we want that tailbone pointing backward, not tucked under us. Okay, so try that. And if you are a good sport, reach back, go to the bony part of your spine, the wide, bumpy, bony part of your spine, and see if you can find your tailbone. You got to reach down there pretty far and find that bumpy end of the spine that used to be our tail. And then see if that feels like it's tucking under you or pointing backwards. And again, once you do that, you're going to be on that soft spot in the front, and it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable if you don't always ride like that. But you do get used to it pretty quickly, and it's about 1,000 times better for your low back. 1,000, there's science to that. It's exactly 1,000 times. All right, so that's a lot about the pelvis. We start here, the bowl is level, we tilt forward, it's like we're spilling water out of the bowl. And that's really where we stay, whether we're seated or standing, that pelvic bowl stays in an anterior or forward tilt the whole time. That's riding posture 101. If you start to find yourself wanting to work hard, I want to hold you back from that. Just pull you back into recovery ride. Notice the tendency to kind of slide forward and tuck under and just keep resituating your pelvis back onto the back of that saddle. All right, so let's then from there, let's go to hip action. And the action of the pedal that we're looking for is a forward push more than a down. So as you look at me pedaling, it looks like I'm pedaling straight up and down like pistons, but obviously I'm making a circle. And you want to feel that always. You always want to feel the front of the pedal stroke. So let's find something in the neighborhood of 70 RPMs and just feel that circle, the circle that the ball of your foot is making. Your toes are relaxed. The ball of the foot is connected to the pedal. And there's this constant forward action. Feel the front of the pedal stroke more than the bottom. And if you're not quite feeling that, if there's still a sensation of the bottom of the pedal, add a little gear so that you can feel more of a circle, more of a push forward. And then I want you to feel something else. I want you to bring a thumb to the hip crease. And I want you to pull your leg up, pull the knee up toward the handlebar, squeeze your thumb. So let cycling happen here in this pulling up and pushing forward. So you might think of this up, forward, up, forward, up, forward, up, forward, right? Hip, quad, hip, quad, hip, quad, hip, glute, right? So what I'm trying to get you to avoid without saying it is stop thinking about pulling up behind you with your pedal. Think more of pushing forward. Cycling is a push activity, okay? So let's treat it as such. Drop a little resistance, speed your legs up. Let your shoulder blades fall down your back. And then play with that. Get your pelvis right. There's some good advice. And then squeeze, push. Squeeze that crease, pull the pedal forward. Bring your cadence up to about 85 RPMs, a little bit faster, a little bit lighter. Flush them out, focusing on that pull up and push forward with hip flexors, not with hamstrings. So as you keep going, I'm going to slow down and just show you in super slow motion what's happening in the pedal stroke. So as we get here to the top of the pedal stroke, it's our hip flexor that's really flexing the hip, pulling that pedal up. And then as we start to push forward, these muscles, our quads, are contracting to straighten the knee. The hip, the glutes, are helping us push, as are the hamstrings. They're all doing the push action. When we get to the bottom, this leg takes over. Hip flexor pulls up, quadriceps extend the knee, the hip and the hamstring, the glutes and the hamstring push that leg forward. And then the leg relaxes while the other pedal does the work. So there's really not much happening on the back of the pedal stroke. In fact, there's nothing. It's called the recovery phase. All of the action happens in the front. About 85 RPMs. Anterior tilt of the pelvis. Pull up, push forward, make circles. And then just notice, how does that feel? There's a lot of repetition here. And so the more you practice this, the more it feels like home. The more you find just this comfortable place, settled, home. All right, folks. So all that fun anatomy, pelvic anterior tilt, hip action, the muscles that are working, that should allow you to sit here comfortably with the muscles in their optimum position to create power when you are ready to ride with power again. So about 75 RPMs with light resistance. Let your knees just respond to the work from the hips and the connection to the pedal. So you want to just relax your knees. You really don't want to take any strain in the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons around the knees. Just let the knees act like a hinge that's bending and straightening. That's all. You want to glance down periodically. Make sure those knees are tracking in line with your feet. And if you're clipped in, make sure you've had someone look at the clips in your shoes and make sure they're positioned in the right place, especially if you do have knee pain and cycling irritates your knees. Those two things are really going to help get your saddle a little higher and adjust your clips, adjust your cleats in your shoes. And then everything gonna be all right. I am listening to Bob Marley. I don't know what you're listening to, but don't worry about a thing. This is my favorite 75 RPM song, Three Little Birds. So let's pay attention to the foot. Something that used to be said a lot is keep your foot flexed, and that's only partially true. So I'm going to demonstrate this by slowing down a little bit. Let's go to 60 RPMs. Got a little Buffalo Soldier. If you want to join me, pop on some Bob Marley right now. Click on Buffalo Soldier, and we're right together. All right, so as the pedal comes around the top, you keep pedaling. The hip flexor has pulled that pedal up. Now the quads are starting to extend. Watch what my ankle does. If I just don't really try to do anything, my foot kind of flexes, right? So that I can push forward, right? As I get down here, my toes point down a little bit. So through the pedal stroke, flex, point. I'm gonna really exaggerate. Flex, point, flex, point. And you don't wanna do it that much, but there's a little bit of ankling, a little bit of movement in the ankle, that just like the knee is a relaxed joint, and it's just responding to the work from the hips and the pedal connected to your shoe. So there you go. It should feel like you're connected to the pedal with the ball of your foot. So you've got the anchor here of your sitting bones. Now you need the bones of your feet, the ball of your foot, to be connected to the pedal. To feel that, lift your toenails into the top of your shoe. Kind of stretch the bottom of your foot out. And that'll help you feel the ball of the foot. And once you feel that, just relax your toes back down into your shoe. So let's just see all that. Here's your pelvis, sitting bones on the saddle, bowl. You're gonna hinge from the hips, come to the front of your sitting bones, point your tailbone back. Lift the pelvic floor, engage your abs. And that will help you keep that neutral spine. You're pulling up. And as you push forward, you make a circle, the knee is relaxed, the ankle responds. You're connected to the ball of the foot. Let's speed up a little bit. Get up, stand up. 75 RPMs. So it's still light and easy. So does that take care of all the things from the waist down? That's where the performance happens on a bike, waist down. This is a lower body activity. That's no surprise. So the upper body, we're more concerned with comfort, right? So neutral spine, whatever you have here, it travels with you to here. We're at about 80 RPMs. Low belly hugs in. Navel toward the spine. Zip up your muscles so it feels like you're taller in the front. And then try this. Round your shoulders. And now don't round your shoulders. Try it again. Round your shoulders. Don't round your shoulders. Put those shoulder blades on the back of your rib cage. Lift your collarbones. Chest is forward. Yeah. Relax your elbows. Hands light on the handlebars. So just keep checking yourself. We don't want a lot of weight there. All the time. Now we see the light. So think of a string from the top of your head, just lifting you tall, braced, strong, neck relaxed. Here's what I see a lot is a lot of weight in the hands and locked out elbows and shoulders high. Not fun. Shoulders back and down, elbows slightly bent, hands light. All right, so we're coming up to 30 minutes where we're gonna end our recovery ride. So we'll go just a little bit farther. And I wanna end this recovery ride with a little bit of breath work. So find about 75 RPMs. We're gonna stir it up with our breath. We're gonna breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. So it's gonna go like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So I'm breathing in 4 pedal strokes. I'm breathing out 4 pedal strokes. Inhale, exhale. Close your eyes and put it all together. Hips, legs, feet, torso, arms, hands, and breath. Inhale, exhale. So you can keep this going as long as you like. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to do some stretching with you. But if you'd like to press pause and just keep your music playing and rack up a few more minutes, you're welcome to do that. So if you're ready to come off the bike with me, we'll do some stretching. Move this. So let's start with quadriceps. So you can use your bike for balance and just swing a leg, just swing it out. Let it swing, let it be loose. And then bring that leg back, toe to the floor. Tuck your tailbone under. So we've been doing this, tuck your tailbone under now, lift the front of your pelvis. Whatever leg is back, take that arm up. And just make your body long. Circle your hand, wiggle your fingers, stretch tall. And release that. Switch sides, swing out the leg. Just trying to create some movement where there has been tightness. And then touch that leg behind you. Tuck your tailbone, lift the front of your pelvis, a little bit of a posterior tilt. And now raise the opposite arm. The same arm as leg back. Go ahead and lift your chest. Lift your heart. And then release. Bring your hands to the handlebars. Stretch yourself back. So we're getting a stretch in the torso and hamstrings. Let your chest fall between your arms a bit. Breathe in. Breathe out. And go ahead and come back up. Let's take one more deep breath. Arms up high. Let your arms open out to the sides. And just take great care of yourself for the rest of the day. Think about that, a warm bath, maybe an ice bath, a massage, a nap, some time reading in the shade. Just do something nice for yourself. You're off to a good start. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you next time we ride together.